That's running. Okay. Recording's running. Yep. Okay, so one other person arrived. Okay. Hi, Sandra. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're recording now. So if you do say something which you actually don't want on the YouTube video, just tell me and I'll just erase that bit of the recording. But just be aware that's where the webinar's going to go, because there's a whole bunch of other people who can't actually make it at this time. So I'm Nicolas David Ngan, the Centre for Conscious Ascension, and I'd like to welcome you all to getting into the flow in your life. This is a free healing webinar, so you can clear some of the blockages to getting into your flow. So what I'd like to hear from you guys, actually, we're not speaking. Let's mute out some background noise, okay? Background noise now. So that was Diana. You just switch on your microphones when you actually want to speak, okay? Yeah, Dorde, if you want to be able to talk to me or switch your video on, I'll just say yes to the promote to be panelist, okay? All right. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to hear from some of you what your intention is for the webinar, because this is the group healing process, and what your intentions actually set what I'm actually going to do today. So if you're willing to have a talk, or even if you can just send it to me on the chat if you want, that sort of thing you can do as well. I'll start with you guys who actually been brave enough to show yourselves. So Kevin, do you want to sort of just say where you are and what brought you here and what your intention is, what you'd like from this? Okay, because we're setting a group energy now.
Firstly, I like your work, David, and that's what Bridge calls you anyway. She doesn't call you Nicholas, she calls you David. So
yeah,
I'll call you David.
Okay.
Firstly, the title of the webinar is Flow. Okay, it's such a beautiful word. It underpins what I try to live effectively. So in terms of blockages, I'm not producing as efficiently as I need to, for a number of reasons, but basically I do need more flow in certain areas of my life. So hopefully this will be useful.
Okay, all right. Because our personal life, our personal inner soul journey of awakening, and our external work that we do and how we deliver our gifts of service, however that is in the world, are one and the same thing. So there's an external blockage. It's actually something in us which is creating it, which is why we do these sort of webinars, because if you clear it inside yourself, it clears in your outer reality, you see.
Beautiful.
Because the most important investment in our missions of service is actually ourselves. We are the limitation, but we are the greatest resource once we start to free that energy out. So who would like to go next? We have the Nigerian contingent here. So who would like to go? Khadija, do you want to go first? You have to unmute. You have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep, real clear.
So I'm tuning in from San Antonio, Texas, and working in the field of psychology. I operate my own private practice, and I feel like it's more along the lines of the divine healing, energy work, kind of fusing that with traditional psychotherapy, psychological practice, and I guess my intention is to expand, to be a support for expanding knowledge and, gaining more understanding and seeing what I can bring to service to my clients. So.
Okay, thank you. All right, Yinka, you don't mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, real clear.
Okay. Yeah, I'm calling from Hertfordshire in the UK, and my main intention is to heal some of my own traumas that happened in the past, and then to to find out my gifts and help others, basically, in some capacity. I'm currently working as an aesthetic nurse.
Okay, thank you. All right, does anyone else want to introduce themselves out of the guys who haven't got your videos on? If you do, just switch your video on and then we can chat away and switch your microphone on. It's up to you. No pressure. It's there if you want. Or just message me on the chat, which is a little chat box with a balloon at the bottom, and I'll just read it out to people if you prefer to have that.
I don't know how to put my picture up.
Who's that? Okay, on the bottom left.
Oh, I saw start video. Is it the?
Yeah, start video.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, sorry.
So what brought you there, Sandra?
Well, just see what it's all about, because I don't know exactly what we're gonna do. So it sounds interesting to me. Again, flow is good, and I think we always need more flow, and more grace and ease, and so I just look forward to it. That's me.
Okay, thank you.
It's Sandra, by the way, from London.
Yeah. Okay, just switch your microphone off now. I'm getting a bit of feedback. I can turn your speakers down a little bit, actually. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else want to introduce themselves? Don't have to, but it'd be great to see you and meet you. Okay. You can always join later. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to share the screen now, and hopefully this will work. And get into this. So, right. Okay, I had fun choosing this picture to talk about the flow. So getting into your flow in life with divine healing. That's what we're going to do today. And this is a little blurb I wrote. And I'm going to repeat some of this for some of the people who watch this for the first time on video who may not have been exposed to this before. So just bear with me as I do that. So, most of you are probably here because you want to help the world in some way, but no matter what you do, you feel left behind in life. And the process of this free group healing webinar is to actually accelerate the clearing of abandonment and emotional blocks within the human ego, because that leads to the feeling of creating abandonment in our relationships and in our businesses, relationships at all levels, especially starting off parents and family, in our outer world. And these programs are here not to defeat us, not to create any more unnecessary pain, but are only here as what we call a negative context to actually be overcome and transmuted. We have abandonment so we can overcome that and create connection with others, and ultimately connection with the divine. And when we do that, then the flow of life comes to us. So if we feel that we are connected, then life is connected to us, and then our outer world changes. So we get into connection, we become more stable and secure with the flow of life, and good things start to turn up. So how do we actually do this? So I'm going to explain the process of how we do this, and then we're actually going to go and do it. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what divine healing is, and this is what we're actually going to do as a group. And I'm just going to clear my throat just a sec. So divine healing is a multi-dimensional healing system that comes from source, and its purpose is to open us to grace. And it's a simple, quick, and profound and accurate set of healing tools which uses your higher self to guide you in the dismantling of your ego. And the reason we have an ego is because we feel separate from Source, Great Spirit, God, in the spiritual sense, whatever you want to call it. And so it was designed by many different groups of beings, angelics, extraterrestrials, ascended masters, all sorts of different schools in the higher dimensions to help us go home in consciousness to Source. And most therapies have only one particular group, but this has many who put this together so we could ascend with grace and ease, and by burning through our ego, plus a lot of other programming. So it enables us to reconnect to spirit at all levels. And it's a tool of self-empowerment, of actually taking charge of your life and no longer feeling like a victim of the matrix or the system or whatever you've been creating as the cold face you have to work up against in life. So you can take back your power and start to create the life you desire. And ultimately, its purpose is to give us keys to enlightenment, raising consciousness. Because enlightenment is about the dissolution of the ego and the embodiment of your higher self, higher consciousness, and its expression here on earth. If you have any questions, feel free to just message me on the chat, or switch your video on and ask me, or put your hand up for those guys who've got your video on. Okay. So what does actually divine healing do? It enables you to make your life really happen. Almira Ariel Hilaire, who developed this, she's my ex-business partner in the Center for Conscious Ascension. She and two other colleagues of ours, we were looking for a tool that would really help us. It was about 11 years ago, to really break through some really heavy-duty programming, karmic programming, because Almira and I were really stuck in trying to work through our issues. And what happened was that she looked at other healing modalities and tried to get the teachers to teach her how to teach them, but they wouldn't do it. So she developed her own thing with the other two friends. And so what it does, it helps us understand and transform the fundamental underlying programming, mostly subconscious, like big icebergs. This is the iceberg, and under the water, most of the programming which is stopping us in life is hidden from our consciousness. You get a bit of an inkling at the top, but most of it's hidden. It enables us to dive down and access this programming the ego is trying to hide from us, so we can then transform it and then create the life we do desire. Because we all have this deep desire, we have this deep feeling there's something special we're here to do, and we're trying to make that happen. But all the stuff here is in the way, and our mission is sort of buried down here under all this programming. So it's about clearing this out so our mission can surface into our consciousness and express itself in the world. And so the visions we have, or the optimistic ideas we have when we're young, we can actually make them happen by clearing all this stuff here. And it allows you to heal deeply and completely all the stuff in the iceberg and reconnect to your true essence, which is this hidden part down here, and tap into its gifts and qualities and experience more love, joy, fun, and aliveness in life. And when you can start bringing this gift out, what happens is that you do create more flow, because of what's blocking the flow is what's in the iceberg here, the hidden stuff. And you become a master of your life. You're no longer at the mercy of all your hidden programs. And so the same old stuff stops happening and better stuff happens in life. So continuing the metaphor, we go from icebergs to onions. What we actually need to do to get to the pure consciousness that we are, which is actually going to help us get in the flow, is to peel the many layers of our ego in the right order, which is why I'm using the onion metaphor, because our higher self built us in a specific way. Welcome, Leah. Just so you built us in a specific way, so we need to take the layers off in the right order in order to stay stable in the process, because they're all interlocking. So what we're actually doing is that as we peel the onion, we are accessing all our emotional separation, all the mud, all the messy stuff in life. And the idea is to embrace all of ourselves, the dark, and the light, the lotus. Because in bringing consciousness to the darkness, our separation, emotional separation, which keeps us separate in consciousness from source, and we can then transmute it into lotuses, into our gifts, beautiful things, which we have to deliver to the world. And it's about letting go of the judgment of our separation, of the darkness, which the ego does deliberately to keep us from awakening. So divine healing is about growing lotuses out of mud. And so what happens here is that, let's explain how we got into this mud, okay? What happens here is that source is here, and this is pure consciousness, the spirit of, it's great spirit, God in the spiritual sense, whatever you want to call it. And what it did is it had an outbreath of consciousness because it wanted to know itself more. And so basically it sent itself out as it created this universe, and it had parts of itself separate from itself and come into greater levels of density. This is pure light and consciousness. Say at the 12th dimension, using a 12-dimensional model, it gradually got denser and denser. Whereas like the 5th dimension is where we still feel a sense of unity. Once we're at the 4th dimension, we're starting to individuate into souls. And in the 3rd dimension, we manifest the physical body, and we feel really separate from here. Because how many of you guys feel that you're just a small human being stuck in this body, and it's a long way to go home? Put your hand up if you feel like that. I feel like that a lot of the time on a bad day. So we're down here, and we have gone as far as we can away from source to feel separate in consciousness. And what the idea is to dissolve that sense of separation and return back to source, and to consciously take all that deeply visceral emotional learning that we've had from being in a body back home to source. Because the purpose of life is for the spark of source, of higher consciousness in us, to have this really intense emotional experience on earth. And that's actually how source learns. We are actually sparks of the divine creating creation in our lives in each moment. That's actually who we are. So creation is not happening out there in space or somewhere else. We are creation in action through our lives. And so the purpose of divine healing is to clear out all the programming in our ego and our personality and the high dimensional parts of us up here, sort of soul level programming, to get back in consciousness to here, get back to oneness, get back into connection. And as you progressively do that, get into your flow. Because if you're really clear, things will just turn up for you. It won't be a struggle, but it's a gradual process of getting there. So how do we actually do that? There are 3 primary separation programs that all human beings have here. And they are the following. Because we separate from source, we feel usually at an unconscious level initially, abandonment by God in the spiritual sense. And then because we feel abandoned, we then have a feeling of, I'm unworthy to be loved by God, because God kicked me out of heaven, I'm in this body, I've been abandoned on this rock here. And then the other thing that happens is we start to mistrust God, mistrust the source. So those 3 programs are the core that forms every human being. And all our remaining ego programs are a product, a subset of these 3 core programs. So in order to get back into the flow of life, you've got to address all these 3 programs. If you can do that, then the flow will start to come gradually in your life. So you've got to go very deep to do that. Okay. And so it's not about just understanding what goes on. In the spiritual world, a lot of people feel if they understand what's going on, they've sorted it out. You've actually got to go into the deep feeling of the program and transmute them. Then change happens. Okay. So divine healing is all about getting access to what the program is, feeling it, and then transforming it. But what do human beings do when these programs come up in consciousness? Okay, someone else has just joined us. That's phone listener. Okay. So here's what most people do. Majority of us do. Most people go into avoidance. They go into their addictions and numbing out and workaholism and all sorts of media distractions. So they don't have to feel their programs as they come up. And you may have noticed how those who are not on the path seem to get older faster, but those on the path, spiritual path, tend to grow younger because they don't have these programs weighing them down. So avoidance is what a lot of people do. And then those who are prepared to look at it a bit, okay, maybe on the spiritual path, we tend to judge these programs. Our ego is actually doing the judgment and feel bad about them. And that just reinforces the program's hold on us because we actually haven't brought consciousness to it fully and accepted it unconditionally. And the third path, which is actually what divine healing is about feeling the program, even though it's exquisitely painful. I still have many layers of programming coming out, even though I've been doing this for 11 years. But it's about owning and resonating with the program. And most importantly, bringing feeling consciousness to it. That's all the soul wants you to do. And then finding the origin, targeting the program. Where actually is this thing in me or around me? And that's the beginning of actually clearing the program, which is, we do it like this. Because we're going to do everything I describe here in a little while. So in order to heal the program and open the flow in your life, you need to have the willingness, desire, and courage to want to go there. And obviously the ego is very pain averse, so it doesn't want to go there. So it's about identifying the issue, if you say abandonment, bringing feeling consciousness to it and expanding this consciousness into the program. The last thing the ego wants to do. Because what you feel, you can actually heal. Okay, it's not what you understand you can heal, it's what you feel you can heal. But the ego is usually onto us here, and it does something like this. It goes and does this. It puts a layer of emotional ice, numbness, protection around the issue so we can't penetrate it initially, because what you can't feel, you can't heal. And it may try and control our emotions through our prefrontal cortex, where we're very left-brained in the West. We try and figure everything out. So what we do here, this actually should be up here. What we do here is that healing becomes possible when we break through this protection of the ego. And then we move our consciousness into the core of the program. And as we do that, it's quite powerful in the group, as you'll see. As we do that and feel this blocked energy, spirit comes in and moves the energy, and grace descends and it starts to transform. And actually the paradox of this is that actually it was actually quite straightforward to clear the program. It was just the ego was making out we'd die or something horrible would happen. If we did try and go there, because it's trying to defend the programs. Let's have a little drink here. So how do we use this process to create more flow? I'm going to talk about how we're built here. We're actually much more than this physical body. We have a higher self, the part of us on the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensions or higher, and it's permanent. And this higher self has an atomic body. This is an Indian model, which is the God self, a Buddhic body, which is a higher emotional body, and a non-linear mind that just knows things, just like Mozart could download symphonies when he was 7 because his higher self had already written the things. And this higher self creates a temporary construct, us, in our human expression, in our human avatars, in our earth suits. It creates an impermanent personality. And it has a mental body, which is very strong in most of us, an emotional body, 7 energy bodies, and a physical body to contain it all. Well, this surrounds it, these energy bodies. And the emotional body especially is filled with lots of emotional separation programs. And these form our ego construct. And we're connected through this little blue line here, this antakarana. This is the This is like the silver cord, really, I guess, you see in the movies that connects you to the higher self. And life force flows through this, and a limited amount of consciousness flows through this. Okay, and this is the reason we're alive. You need more than air and water. You actually need to have connection to life force from higher consciousness to be alive here in the body. But because we've got so separate from source, higher consciousness, by being in this body and having a very narrow antakarana, not much flow comes. So we have a sense that this reality is full of lack, which it is, because it's actually just a massive projection screen, a three-dimensional projection screen for our what we believe is true unconsciously. So in order to create more flow, we need to open up the antakarana. Okay, so this is creating flow at a fundamental level within us. It's not about fancy marketing or tricks and things like that to make money. If you open this antakarana and open up to higher consciousness, the flow will come. It does take time though, and there are no quick fixes for this, no matter what you're told by smart internet marketers. There is no quick fix. You need to do the work on yourself. And if you're not prepared to do the work, you'll be wasting your money on pretty much anything. Okay. So it requires a lot of dedication to get a mission online here. Okay. Now, my mouse is playing it. Here it is. So, if you manage to start clearing the lower self of its emotional separation, its programs and things like that, what then happens is the antakarana opens up and more flow starts to happen, which is the very thing you want to carry out this mission of service and delivery gift of service. And the purple violet stuff, unconditional love, starts to come in. And this starts to accept our programming for what it is. And as a result of that, more programming leaves, more flow comes, life gets easier. Have you noticed how you work on yourself? When you work on yourself, life gets easier as you get older, but if you don't work on yourself, it gets tougher because the programs get more embedded. So we're going for the former here. All right. And as you work on yourself, what happens here? The antakarana opens up more, and you get even more unconditional love coming through. Life gets even better. More flow comes. It's not just money. It's about love, abundance, ideas. Okay, because when you have that flow of, if you feel worthy to receive that flow of increased unconditional love from the higher self, then that's going to reflect itself in your outer reality. Your life will go better at all levels, including financially and with your business. And if you keep at this, you get this. And this is what enlightenment looks like, where the ego has dissolved and it is now serving the higher self. It no longer has an attachment to doing things a certain way, it's just let go. And a massive amount of unconditional love comes in, and higher consciousness comes in here. And this is the key to actually getting your flow going. I mean, you don't even have to get this far, okay? But if you can get this far, some good stuff will happen, because basically the ego surrenders and you at a personality level become a conscious vehicle surrendered to the flow of spirit. Then the flow will really come, because it's about just going in the moment with what feels right. And things will just turn up. And this is what happens when you get to the stage. What happens is that the surrendered ego, interfacing with the earth plane here, becomes the servant of higher consciousness. You're a very clear channel for high frequency energies to come through into the world, and then to manifest in this three-dimensional projection screen of life whatever the mission of the higher self is. And it's about just getting out of your own way. And this love will come through, and good stuff will just turn up. And because this high frequency then creates a separate bubble of reality. I call it a fifth dimensional bubble of reality around you. So your life will be quite different to the majority of human beings who are subjected to the rules of the matrix, and are sitting in fear and feel like victims of the matrix and having a completely different experience. How many of you have that? How many of you feel you're in this bubble and you have a different life to the majority of people around you? I do. Yeah. So this is actually how you do it. So opening up to this higher consciousness will bring to you everything you desire. Okay. Well, it's in alignment with the mission of the higher self. So your flow really is the expression of your higher self through clean ego into this reality. So what you're actually doing is this. When you're following the path of the ego, the little human ego, which thinks it feels separate from God ultimately, it's terrified of dying, it's terrified of being annihilated by higher consciousness. It's using its left brain, it's following this path of what it thinks is right, which is what happens mostly in the West. And this is the path of suffering, as the Buddha talks about. If you apply healing, divine healing in this case, you make the shift to following the spiritual signature, the path of getting into your flow of life. And it's the flow where your higher self, where your higher consciousness wants to go. That's what the flow really is. And if you start converging on this solid line, this is the flow of spirit, and each moment is one right action. And that action is what opens your heart in that moment. So healing your heart is really important, so you can feel what's right. As you open to that in each moment, and you converge on it here with practice in your daily life, and with healing the issues as they come up, when you get into this area here, life really flows and opens, because you have accessed this vastness of spirit, this higher consciousness. And that higher consciousness will guide you, because it has a much bigger perspective than the little limited ego here. And it knows what the next right step is. It provides solutions to seemingly insoluble issues you may be faced at a human level. Einstein said that you can only solve a problem at one level of consciousness by approaching it from a higher level of consciousness. And this is actually what we're doing here. So this is how you get to the flow. You move to following the spiritual signature. And that comes through clearing the ego, basically, because initially it's hard to follow it because there's too many ego programs in the way. So what happens as you start to follow the flow? As you clear your emotional blockages, like abandonment in this case, which blocks the flow especially, okay, it takes lots of life force to hold these programs in us so we don't feel them. The ego doesn't want us to feel the pain of this. So you get diminished life force flow, less energy, lots of limitation. But when you transform them, in this case with divine healing, or whatever other healing modality you like to use, what happens then is that you are dissolving them and you're freeing up this life force. And that life force is then available to create more of the good stuff in your life rather than being wasted, holding you back from, well, the ego is using it to hold you back from the pain it perceives you don't want to feel. Maybe it doesn't want to feel, really. So as this life force increases, good stuff starts to happen, because the higher self has a much clearer channel to manifest the flow, what it desires to create here. And when you're in a surrendered ego state, all you want to do is align with spirit. There's nothing else to do, because we know it's no point in trying to do whatever the ego wants, because it's going to get us into trouble. It's going to be painful. So that's sort of a summary of how to get in your flow at a top level. Okay. Anyone got any questions on that? Just switch on your mic or wave to me, and you can chat about that. Anyone got any questions or comments before we get to the next stage? Yunka? No? Khadija, you got anything you want to say? You're okay. Sandra? You're okay. You're okay, Kevin? All right. So why don't we just go and do some of this? Okay, that's what we're going to do. To give you a direct experience of this. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do a group divine healing session. All right. And because we've got a unified intention here, and because we're in a group, there's 13 of us here, it's going to be much more powerful than doing this individually. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear some energy interference, which we show here. We're going to clear some of these astral energies and beings who sit at the lower fourth dimension, who block our connection to higher self. And they actually maintain our programming and keep us from awakening. So I'm going to clear a layer of them off off all of you in one go, okay? So this will be done quietly, but I want you just to have your feet flat on the ground, take your shoes off and have them flat on the ground, okay? And I want you just to breathe through your mouth through this whole process and then feel what happens, okay? Just be aware of what's shifting in you, okay? Welcome, John. If you want to better connect more with us, just thank you. All right. So this will be done quietly, but I just want you to feel how this happens. So the first group of beings we're going to clear are called earthbound souls. These are beings who have attached to you because their physical body died, but their soul's still on the earth plane. And these beings are connected to you because you have the same issues that they had when they were embodied. And they wanted to sort of work the issue out with you. All right. So just close your eyes, and breathing through the mouth is very important here, because what it does is it keeps you in your body. If you breathe through your nose, it takes you into your head, and we're not interested in thinking about this or understanding it. I just want you to feel the shift that happens. So we'll do this quietly now, and we'll see how we go. Here we go. Feel the energetic shift. Next, we're going to shift any astral extraterrestrial presence who may be interfering with you guys. Okay, nothing to be worried about. Here we go. Feel the energy shift. We're going to release pretty much anything else which could be hanging out with you, okay? So you can actually rewatch this video later. Those of you who are present with, in the session here, and anyone else is watching the YouTube video, and this process will work anyway. So you can do it multiple times. You want to get really clear of this interference. The video will contain the entire transmission of what we're doing here. Here we go. Okay, that one's complete. Just going to take these beings and energies away now. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Okay, who would like to share their experience of that? Just to get a little feedback. This helps the guys who are watching it feel what you've been through. Kevin, do you want to share a little bit about how that was? Just have to unmute.
I just feel very relaxed, David. I didn't feel any significant physical change. I just feel, a good space at this moment. And, that's as much as I can say.
Yeah, Yeah, this can be subtle, the stuff, or more overt, depending on who you had on board. Khadija, do you want to share a bit about how that was? You just unmute. Bottom left. Yeah, try now.
Okay, well, it was very relaxing. I felt very calm, peaceful energy, and I just heard in my intuitive voice to hold space.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yinka, how was that for you? Let me do it. I'll do it from my end, Yinka. Okay, try now.
Yes. I just felt very relaxed. Yeah, just very relaxed.
Okay, all right, good. All right. Welcome, Kimberly. Thanks for switching your video on. Would you like to share how that was for you? I'll unmute you. Yeah, try and speak now. It should be okay. Yeah, I've unmuted you. Just try and talk now and see if it works. We're not picking that up very well. Have you got is a microphone on your computer? Try now.
Okay, is it there?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It works nice and clear.
Okay, alrighty. Sorry. Yeah, for me, I could really feel. One reason why I'm here is because I have your Soul Decoded
Okay, cool.
book, and I've been that, so I know I have a big purpose, but a lot has been a lot of interference.
Yeah.
And a lot of trauma as well. So all of this has really been speaking to me. But watching this as we were getting closer and closer, I was feeling like I was being strangled almost. And then as you did the release, I just felt like, whew, and I dropped back into my body. So
Yeah.
it was a big for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, someone and something left. Yeah, they might have been there a long time as well. So, yeah. Okay, good. So that's how we get free of what's been going on.
Thank you.
Sandra, how was that for you?
I just felt and still feel tingling at the back.
Okay.
It's the main thing, and a little bit more awake actually.
Yeah. Yeah, these interferences, they drain our energy a lot. Okay. So you always feel more energized once they're gone. Thank you, Sandra. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clear what are called main low frequency programs. Okay. Just going to clear my throat again.
I can't hear you anymore.
How's that? Yeah. So I want you to close your eyes. We're going to connect to the what are called main low frequency programs. I want you to connect to the main low frequency program of abandonment, however that was for you in life. And by breathing into your mouth, breathe all the way into your stomach, deep into your body, and have a sense of how you felt abandoned. Could just be your mother not paying attention at one moment in your life. Breathing through the mouth is really important, so you need to consciously open it up. You want to actually, ego will want to close your mouth, okay, so it doesn't feel it. Breathe deep into your body. Don't go looking for it. Just see gentle intention will take you there. Could be one moment where parent didn't pay attention, or mum didn't pick you up from school at the right time, because this is the primary blockage to getting into the flow. And breathe into that. And breathe that, your intention, deep into that little red ball of abandonment, however that is for you. And you'll notice once you get into it, it's actually not so scary as the ego made it out. And as you start to feel it, some of it may be a little painful. Just sort of accept it for what it is. Just feel the different layers of it, and then expand out your consciousness into the different layers of it, into that red ball, so you feel it completely as much as you can. Or if you could feel that 100%, the program will dissolve, but the ego's got these defense mechanisms which make that a little tricky at times. And if you're able to, get a sense of when that actually happened. Okay? You might have a sense, oh, it happened to me at 3 or 4. So what we're doing is that with divine healing, we target the origin, the original time when this program was established. It could be a past life, it could be this life when you were 2, it might be a parallel life. Just get a sense. It might be before you're born, it could be at conception. It could be a time when you're in the womb. Okay. And just feel the stuff. And breathe into it. What I want you to do is, when I say so, I want you to open your eyes and look at this table here. There are 24 different original times this abandonment could come from. And whatever your eye is drawn to, that's actually the time that actually occurred, or the place. Okay? All right? Then close your eyes once you've got it, because that energy will go into what we call the divine healing stack as soon as your eye is drawn to it. Okay? Don't try and remember it. You have to remember it. Just as long as you see it and that was right for you, it'll go into your energy system. Okay? All right? Same for you guys on the video. This will still work. And if, say, it's in utero, just pick a number between 1 and 42, whatever comes to you. That'll be the right number. It's sort of so many weeks in the womb. And this here, this is from the Divine Healing Manual. And if it's in the current life, you pick an age between 0 and your current age. The number will just come to you. Okay? All right. Hopefully everyone's got you've got your original time. Now what I want you to do is, as you keep opening to all aspects of this feeling of how you're abandoned, feeling the attachment the ego has to holding on to this program. The ego loves holding on to stuff to create more suffering for us, because that's its job, to keep us separate from higher consciousness. Just be aware of that attachment. And be aware of any feelings of being bad for having that abandonment. And most importantly, become aware of any judgment your ego has of it. Ooh, I shouldn't have that program. I should be more evolved. It shouldn't be there. I'm a better light worker than that. Whatever it is for you. And keeping your eyes up closed is really important, because the ego will want to open the eyes so the mental body can switch on and try and analyze and understand it. And so there's no need to do that. We're just trying to feel it. That's the most powerful way of awakening and clearing. And the more you can open to the abandonment, the more it can integrate and heal. shortly I'm going to do the command code quietly to clear this. So keep breathing deeply into this. The deeper you connect with it, the deeper the clearing for you. Okay. So now I'm going to clear it. So I want you to keep breathing into that abandonment and see what happens. Feel what happens as I do this. Here we go. Okay, just finish that command code. Because it's based on asking you shall receive divine healing. So if you ask for it, clearly it'll happen. Feel the shift that's happening. You'll feel a layer of that abandonment dissolving. Keep breathing through your mouth into it. It takes a little while for it to leave, that layer. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Just bring yourself back. Breathe deeply, a bit more deeply into your body. We'll have a little sharing of how that was. Everyone's back. Okay, who would like to share how that was? Just give a little feedback on what happened. Oh, actually, Leah has actually said something to me on chat. Okay, so I think this was just for the previous part. I'll read that first. So Leah said, I felt a lot of releasing and kept getting songs that were giving me messages saying goodbye. Thanks, Leah. And Jill Christine and Sean Severson McClay, they said, we both felt very relaxed. Sean felt lightness in his chest. I saw purple in my mind's eye. We did a replay the other night and both felt more specific shifts. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. Who else would like to share? Yinka, would you like to share how that was? Oops. I'll just switch your microphone on. Here you go. Hang on. You're trying to...
Yeah, I just felt quite emotional.
Yeah.
And yeah, just quite emotional, really. I could feel something in my heart, but just a bit of tightness, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Something which was closing out was leaving, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Jill Christine has said, hang on, it's getting busy here on the chat. Hang on. She felt tingling in my left foot and tightness and a lot of shifting in my chest. I felt emotional as well. Sean felt releasing in his shoulders. Leah said, thank you. At first there was a sadness at parents. Once I went back to preconception, I was very angry at God. Junior clearing when I was in a rage and hate at God, my body was doing small convulsions and I felt more at peace. Thanks, Leah. Okay. Khadija, do you want to share how that was? Hang on. Do you want to unmute or shall I do it? Like, there you go, try now.
You hear me?
Yep.
Well, just a lot of vibration that I felt around me, a lot of tingling, just light energy of feeling kind of lighter.
Yeah.
Yes. I did feel a memory come up, but it also felt like a past life memory. just some work that I'd done in the past, but then it came back in my mind of experience that that I felt like I couldn't trust at life. And so a lot of the work that I've been doing has been towards kind of trusting myself more and trusting in my abilities. And so I felt like that memory popped back in. So it was probably some stuff that still needed to be cleared.
Thank you. Our programs have usually many layers. They don't all go in one go. Just the one that's ready to go just can be taken out, because otherwise if we took it all out too quick, we'd destabilize. So the higher self knows how much you can handle when we do divine healing. You only get as much as you can handle when we do this.
Yeah.
Kimberly, how was that for you? Yeah. Try now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just had a lot of energy going through me. I was yawning a lot, and I had tears coming out. I actually went back to memory. I had to go to kindergarten in a taxi by myself.
Yeah.
I was frightened, and but that took me back to another memory before, and so it was just trying to go into it and let it move out.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Yawning is okay and things like that, because that's actually the release of the negative energy. Yeah. Yawning and burping are pretty typical, even though we don't like the idea of burping in the West, but actually that's a very powerful way to release energy out of the system. Okay. All right. Sandra, how was that for you? Thanks, Kimberly.
I'm a little bit more awake now. Something shifted around this area here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more awake. I was really like knocked out when we started.
Yeah. What happens is this is the release of life force. It frees up as we clear programs, so we wake up more. And if the programming or the being interference knows we're going to do something, it will try and shut us down, because it knows that it's going to be cleared, some of it. So it can't stop us. So.
Also being in a group energy is also strong, in order to, you know, when you're in it, it feels a little bit like, you know, we're all putting everything in one pot, in one soup, you know.
Yeah, well, it is very powerful in a group, which is why we do it in a group.
I'm feeling, you know, that's why I'm a bit knocked out, and then we shift everything together, you know.
Yeah, so whatever you clear in you is clearing everyone else, you see.
Yes.
And so you're getting multiple healings, not just the one you focused on, you're getting whatever else anyone else had as well. If it's
exactly, that's what I'm feeling. That's why I'm so knocked out,
Yeah. Kevin, thanks, Sandra. Do you want to say something there, how that was?
It was interesting. My heartbeats went very low rate. There was one point where I didn't really even feel the need to breathe. It's rather strange, but for about a minute, I just was in such a space that I just stuck there. It was very nice.
Yeah.
And I think it just regards the abandonment thing. I just feeling that it's all in the past. It doesn't matter now. You know, I think there was the kind of release I felt about what I was thinking about. You know, it just seems very trivial now.
Yeah. But our little inner children, little inner boys and girls can take it. As far as I can see, it's in the moment. It's still happening, especially if there's a bit of trauma around it. So that's, even though it seems subtle, that could actually be holding up a whole bunch of stuff in this moment in life. Because one little belief or one sense of abandonment or whatever it is actually what affects us permanently until we clear it. A lot of the time we're not even aware it's there until we set the energy like this, and then we suddenly realize that's there. That's the one being holding me up. Because if you focus in life, see, as light workers and spiritual seekers, we tend to focus on all the things which are wrong with us in order to get clear and get on with our mission. And because through the law of attraction we do that, we actually get more of it. So it's not saying ignoring what we've got, but it's also important to focus on where we're actually wanting to go on our missions of service that feels right to us. Because when you focus on where you want to go, you're actually starving the ego of some of your life force energy by putting it into what you want to create. So there's two parallel tracks to bring your mission online. There's the internal healing process, so you're still being conscious of what's coming up. There's also the external one of getting on with your mission, which is what the soul contract's about, Kimberly. Because you focus on where you want to go, and you keep at it, and you don't let the ego distract you, you just start creating a new reality. I was going to put you on mute, Kevin, we're getting the dog. You're getting a new reality created, but that will also trigger the ego to throw up more programming to try and stop you, because it's going to try and stop you your whole life. But actually what you're doing by focusing on where you want to go, you're flushing out all the programs in the way. And if you're following them, if you're aligned to where you want to go, as I showed you earlier, or anything in the way of it will emerge out of the ego, out of hiding. When it comes out of hiding, out of surfaces from beneath the emotional subconscious waters, it's easy meat. It's easy to transform because you can feel it. But prior to that, you couldn't feel it. So therefore, it keeps sabotaging you. So focus on where you want to go, what feels right. Be aware of what comes up. Keep carrying your mission out. And they sort of feed each other, the internal clearing process and the external manifestation of your business or your mission to the best of your ability. And the two go hand in hand. Often a lot of light workers feel, I've got to get myself completely clear, then I'll start my mission. But you'll get old and dusty by that stage. So it's about doing both at the same time. And gradually, the synergy between the two, the internal and the external process, will create that flow for you. And if you burn out enough of the ego, you get to a point of what we call soul integration, where the higher self and the soul expressing through you is stronger than the ego's drag weight pulling you back. And that's when things really start to open up. Basically, the ego has lost control of the lifetime. And that's when the flow really starts to happen. So the goal is to get to that point of soul integration. Enough momentum is going. It's not dragging you back anymore. Okay, then you start to create a completely different life to the one you started with. Radically different. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Oh yeah, Jill Christina said she yawned a lot as well. Making me want to yawn, Jill, when you say that. Okay. So we're going to do another process now. 80 to 90% of what you're processing and going through in this life comes from past lives. It comes from unresolved issues. So what we're going to do now is we're going to clear some of the past life stuff around blockages to the flow, blockages to reconnection. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is close your eyes, everybody, breathe through the mouth again. Here's the past life chart of divine healing we're going to work on now. I want you to breathe into your mouth, and with your intention, connect. Your higher self's got this worked out already. Connect to any past life or lives where the flow was blocked or you felt abandoned, whatever you're drawn to. And there's a sequence, there's a right sequence here your higher self's already worked out. And you may even sense how many there are. And just breathe into that sense of blocked flow, abandonment that you're now processing in this life. This could have come from, thousands of years ago. Could be coming from anywhere. Just breathe into that blockage and the flow, that abandonment. Breathing through the mouth. Oh, I'm wanting to yawn. See, a lot of energy shifting. Oh, I burped in as well, so something's shifting in you guys. And just bring your consciousness to those lifetimes, even though you may flashbacks, you may feel it, you may see it, or both. Oh, a lot of energy shifting now. And breathe yourself deep into that life, into the dungeon or into the situation where it was, and expand your consciousness. Feel all aspects of that situation. Get a sense of the era, or whatever it is. Get a sense of what happened. Okay, you might have been a moneylender or something, or you might have been I don't know, some sort of landlord misusing money. Who knows what it is? and that's affecting you this lifetime. Breathe into the feeling of that life. Deep, breathing deep into your body. And now I'm going to do the clearing command code. So keep breathing into those lifetimes, and as I do this, watch and feel what happens. Really yawning now. You guys are clearing something deep. It's okay to yawn. You can burp too if your microphone's on mute. Don't hold back. Just let it out. Okay, the command code is complete, so just embrace the shift. And just when you're ready, just open your eyes and just breathe a little more deeply and bring yourself back into this life. We have a little check in to see how that was. You can message me on chat, you guys who haven't got the video on, and we'll just see how you other guys are doing. It was a strong one. Yinka, how was that for you? I'll switch your microphone on.
Yeah, I was yawning a lot. I don't normally yawn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just felt relaxed, but I was yawning, just yawning.
Yeah, a lot of clearing happening.
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
So do you have a sense of what sort of past lives you connected to?
No, I didn't get any feeling or anything really. I haven't really looked into past lives.
Okay. Thank you. Khadija, how was that for you? What did you have a sense of?
Actually, I got a vision of I was walking in a desert.
Yeah.
Kind of lost.
Yeah.
In the desert, and and it looked like there was a lot of wind, and it felt like I was alone in a very dry place. So image kept coming up, and so but after a while, it just I just felt this vibrational wave just come from my left side, kind of almost
yeah,
very relaxing, tingling vibration that came over me. But it was interesting. I've never connected with that timeline. So, but I was male, like it looked like, and it looked like I was probably, somewhere, well, obviously it was in the middle of that desert.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was very bright sunlight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very sunny. It was hot, and it seemed like my clothes were all over me because from the wind.
Yeah.
Seemed like I was the only one there, and I actually I did get a glimpse of me riding on a camel. But then the camel was gone, and then it was just me trying to find my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Okay. Let's have a look here. Okay, so Jill has said something here. Jill Christina. She said, "I had a vision of being in a prison. I felt abandoned by a family member. The shift left felt deep in my center of my body. Sean felt beheaded and like his head got reconnected." Okay. All right. Sandra, how was that for you?
I was once told, I can't remember by whom, that I was an undertaker, but I didn't really create karma there.
Yeah.
I did it in a kind of spiritual way.
Yeah.
So I saw that image again, going up the hill with the coffins and the people, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like there was some clearing the heart center
Okay.
going on. Yeah, that was it.
Good. Kevin, how was that for you? Thanks, Sandra.
I felt, firstly, I experienced a place rather than the individual. I felt I was in some kind of kitchen, but with a very small window, and I just sensed that the day was ending, the daylight was disappearing, and then at the end, I got the feeling that I was actually a female, probably older than I am, and that's what came to me. That was, I don't understand it, but that's what I perceived.
Okay, thank you. You don't necessarily have to understand what's going on, just connect to the feeling and the vision, and that's usually enough to clear the stuff.
Okay.
Kimberly, how was that for you?
At first, I was trying to, I could feel myself trying to tap into one of a burned at the stake that I've been trying to release. But as soon as you said in the dungeon, it was like wham, I was there. I felt it as if I was in there. I was left alone in the dungeon. I've tapped into this one before, but it was like I was physically there. And then when you started doing the healing, I just felt it lift. And then I had a really big yawn come out. A couple, 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just so heavy, feeling like I was in there even, and then it lifted off.
Okay, good. Another layer gone. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, so we've done quite a bit of deep clearing so far this evening. So what we do now is that we're going to help integrate it, because our system gets a bit jangled around by all this energy leaving. So we're going to infuse some energetic nutrition. So let's have a look here. So this is a nutritional chart in Divine Healing 1. There's 5 levels of Divine Healing. This is the first level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll slowly through this nutrition, and there's amino acids and essential fatty acids on this page, and then there's a couple more on the next page. So if you're drawn to a particular nutritional element here, you're going to receive the frequency of it. Just write it down. We'll just keep an eye, just take a mental note. Once you've done that, it'll go into what we call the Divine Healing stack. I was going to go through it slowly. And that frequency will bypass the ego totally and will help you integrate what you've just done tonight. And there are minerals and vitamins down here. I'll go back the other way in a minute. Okay. So just write it down if you can, because we're going to do the command code of this together. I think that's all there is there. Yep, that's it. So we go back the other way. Okay, everyone got their nutritional energy there? I'll do it once more just in case. Okay. So you just pick one of them out of all those. Then actually I want you just to switch on your microphones, everybody, even you guys who are muted if you're up for it, because we're going to say this command code here at the top together. It's more powerful, we hear each other here. Okay, just microphone buttons on the bottom left. Okay, so repeat after me. Higher self,
Higher self,
please encode this nutrient
please encode this nutrient
Encode this nutrient
in the perfect balance
in the perfect balance
that is required, and clear and align
and clear and align
all pathways
all pathways
for maximum assimilation,
for maximum assimilation,
absorption,
absorption,
and utilization.
and utilization.
Okay, so just feel the shift.
Feel the shift.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just close your eyes and just allow that shift to happen, because it's going to sort of integrate you, really. This is what's going to happen now from all the work we've done so far this evening. You should feel feeling a bit more relaxed now. Okay, just open your eyes when you're ready. Khadija, how was that? How was the nutrition? How did that shift things?
Oh, nice, nice. I kind of felt this energy just kind of almost like a raining of, sort of like someone poured water.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yinka, how was that? Thanks, Khadija.
Yeah, I felt very a bit lightheaded actually, but yeah, very nice feeling.
Okay.
But a bit lightheaded.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Kimberly, how was that?
I feel like I could take a nap now.
Yeah.
It was really, really.
Yeah, you may need to take a bit of a rest after this and drink some water, everybody, after this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
detox.
water too.
Yeah. Kevin, how was that?
Just blissful, I think. It's a nice feeling, David. That's all I don't have words.
Okay, good. As long as it felt good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Sandra just dropped out, just rejoined us again. So, we'll talk about a bit more about how the works. Yeah.
Oh, I'm off again.
So, divine healing is really about empowering yourself by changing our programming, which comes off our DNA here, which is why we've got this DNA strand, 12-strand DNA we work with here. And it consists of 26 charts, okay, which match the letters of the alphabet. And it's a mixture of charts. For example, we did this low frequency program chart here, where we're clearing low frequency programs like abandonment. Okay, we did interferences here. We have all sorts of other things like key psychological conflicts and God consciousness, which is how we feel separate from God, fears and phobias, work with the chakras, things like that. And we have the past life death. So in this case, I just use it to clear the past life abandonment and blockage to the flow programs. And I use this original time program as well to find out where your abandonment or disconnection from the flow happened. But basically, it was put together, and higher self guides you through the use of these charts in a specific combination unique to you to actually clear whatever is presenting itself in the moment. So it's very much client-centered or you-centered if you're doing it on yourself. And it's designed basically to peel that ego onion we talked about at the beginning in the right order for you. Or if you learn how to do this, then it's basically helping your client clear their ego onion in the right order. So you can receive this as a treatments, one-on-one treatments, or you can learn to do it yourself. We run a 4-day training on how to do this, so that you can actually work on yourself. Even if that's the only thing you ever do, it'll open your flow up. Because once you get into this sort of energy and your higher self realizes that you've got this powerful tool to clear stuff, it's going to accelerate your growth. It's going to accelerate the clearing process. And you can use it on other people as well if you're a practitioner. I think a lot of you are practitioners. So when you can use it on yourself, it's very self-empowering, because it means you can just clear an issue in the moment pretty much. If something comes up, it's blocking your day, or you haven't got enough clients coming in, if you do enough of this divine healing, the phone will start ringing again, or emails will start coming in because you cleared the program. So it's a fast track way of using ask and you shall receive, because you're aligning with the higher self to clear whatever's in the way. When I first started doing this in 2006, I had a lot of unworthiness, and I would just, if the week wasn't doing very well in terms of bookings, I would just keep doing the divine healing. I might do a couple of hours at a time until the phone started ringing. And then I would get back to work because a program had come up. So my business, my spiritual therapy business, was showing me what my programming was. And because I had to pay the bills and feed a family, I had to get on with it. I didn't have much choice. So this actually enabled me to move out of a place of real disempowerment, feeling like a victim of life, to empowering myself and taking charge. And when I realized that I could actually clear the programming, nothing was being done to me, it was just something my soul had set up, then I realized I could actually create anything I wished that was in alignment with my higher consciousness, just by clearing the programming and then focusing on manifesting it. So this is what we can do with this. So it's a very powerful tool for creating the dreams and alignment with where you want to go, creating your flow. So let's talk about how we can do that a little bit. So you can receive sessions on Free Up Your Life at divinehealing.com. It's private sessions which can be done on Zoom or Skype or in person in Surrey here in England. I tend to, my practice seems to be global pretty much. Or for the cost of about, how much is it? Let's have a look here. For the cost of about 2.5 sessions with me, you can actually learn to do it yourself. And then it means that we're running one on the 14th to 17th of December, online or in person, from 12:30 to 8:30 UK time, and that's 7:30 to 3:30 Eastern time. Okay, and in Pacific time, it's actually 4:30 AM to 12:30 PM, but we cover from California basically out to the Eastern Bloc, which is where most clients are. Japan, Botswana, Vietnam, sometimes Australasia. But you can actually learn for the cost of 2.5 private sessions to actually do this yourself, and you can actually clear about 70-80% of your issues yourself when you need to do it, rather than having to wait for sessions. And the other 20% of the time is when you are coming across a core ego program where you need to have someone hold emotional space so you can drop directly into it yourself. That's where you need an experienced divine healing practitioner to hold that space. But basically, because we're trying to encourage people to become self-empowered and get on with their mission, this is probably the most efficient way actually for getting into your flow. Because once you've got the tool, and your higher self realizes that you've got the tool because it guided you to it, it'll accelerate your mission much faster. And you'll start to dismantle your ego a lot quicker, and all the good stuff you dream of, all those dreams that you feel in your heart that your soul's feeding you that you want to create, you've got a much better chance of it happening. So you can find out more about it at thedivinehealingtraining.com. The deposit's £166 or $225 here. But I went from being in enormous debt from having created this business, because I wasn't very good at running the business when I first started because of my unworthiness, to actually managing to pay all my bills now and actually running a lot more classes, reaching a lot more people, making much more of a difference because of using divine healing. It completely changed my life. And the most important thing was that it empowered me that I could actually change my programming. I wasn't at the mercy of my ego. I could actually do pretty much what I wanted in terms of aligning with the flow of my higher self, provided I cleared the programs. And I still have programming coming up. It's near ending until we actually ascend in consciousness. We get back to source. But it's made my life a lot more graceful in the past 10 years. Especially the past 3 or 4 years, I've been on a lot better than I had in the past. But before I had this life, it was really challenging. It was pretty tough. It was pretty miserable because my ego was so strong, still is apparently, according to our mirror. So this is what I'd like to share with you if you're interested. Just contact me if you want to know more. The video will be sent out, emailed to all of you once we've processed it. Okay, so you can watch it again if you want to catch up on anything. So are there any final questions before we finish for tonight from anyone? You can put it on the chat. Leah said, very relaxing, thank you. Anyone want to ask any final questions? All quite clear? No, I think you've got the idea. No more messages from you guys online. I haven't got your cameras on. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for engaging and participating, and I hope this shifted some of the blockages to your flow, and it'd be good to hear how that goes for you. Okay. All right, so we'll say good night now. We'll see you, Yinka and Khadija, on the training, I think, won't we? So.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Okay. All right. Take care, everybody.
Okay, you too.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.